I absolutely thought this dude is going to make big-time plays and make some team excellent. He is a winner. He makes teams around him better. He makes plays that others can't. I mean, watching him go down the field in that final drive against one of the great college football teams of all time, that USC team with Pete Carroll that had won those national championships in the Rose Bowl, you couldn't help but think, man, that guy just has it. And he got to the NFL and showed it. He showed it. I mean, he was the offensive rookie of the year in his first season. He went to Pro Bowls. He went to a couple of Pro Bowls. But he couldn't ever keep it together. And in this article with SI, he basically lays the blame at Jeff Fisher. Now, Mraz, you're watching this show about the Los Angeles Rams of last year.
All or nothing.
Which is what we're going to talk about with Shannon Furman from NFL Films, one of their producers later on in the show, this kind of documentation that they have of last season and this documentary series that they're airing. And we had Hard Knocks of the Rams last year, but this is now in-season stuff. And you said after watching the first couple of episodes, your big takeaway was Jeff Fisher is a real jerk.
Well, more of like a jerk as a coach. I think he favors certain players, and that comes across very much like what Vince Young is talking about. And he doesn't care if the cameras are on, and it's evident to me that he favors certain players on his team. There are certain guys that are his guys, and certain guys he pushes harder on. And I had that opinion before we saw this Vince Young article, and that's exactly what Vince Young is speaking to.
So there's part of this article, it's a really good read, and you have to really take it all in because it's long and there's a lot of layers to it. I think Vince Young has always been immature. I think, as Norm Chow cited in this article, he was coddled coming out of college. And when he hit adversity in the NFL, he wasn't ready for people to coach him hard. He wasn't ready for Jeff Fisher to lean on him. He wasn't ready for the criticism. He wasn't ready for teammates to resent him for not working as hard. So I think there's absolutely blame at the feet of Vince Young. No doubt about it. And I think Vince, at times in this article, what Bishop does a good job of saying is, at times he shows regret, but at times he just blames everybody else for his failures. But from what Vince Young also describes about Jeff Fisher, it makes Jeff Fisher look like just a disaster of a coach. A guy that absolutely, as you just said, plays favorites, and if you're not his favorite, you are screwed. He is looking to put the screws to you. And that Jeff Fisher, I wouldn't doubt this at all. This is what I believe happened. Fisher didn't really want Vince Young. Vince Young wasn't a traditional pocket passer, which is what Jeff Fisher has always loved. Okay? Steve McNair was not a traditional pocket passer necessarily, but Steve McNair had a lot of traditional quarterback abilities. He could stand in the pocket, take big shots. He was a leader. Guys respected him. He put in the work. That's the type of guy that Fisher's going to love. He was a good old boy, Steve McNair. Vince Young, Jeff Fisher didn't want. Couldn't run an offense with him that he liked. Couldn't ground and pound. Couldn't do the small things. And so when Bud Adams went above everybody at number 3 and said, as the owner, we're taking Vince Young. I don't care what you guys think. And Fisher said, we can't do that. That started right there, Jeff Fisher's resentment towards Vince Young.